If you're asking yourself, should I do it? WSET Wine and Spirit Education Trust, level 1, 2, or 3, or even master. Yes, yes. Do it. Do it! Kind of scared myself. This is your sign. Whatever level, you have to commit. Really, I've never met anyone who's done any of the levels and then regretted it. And then said, oh, the money, the everything, I shouldn't have done it. And why would you regret it? I mean, one, you get to learn something new. And we are, in this time and age, we are so lazy when it comes to learning. We would rather watch 1,000 YouTube videos on how others learn or tips on how to learn than actually take our butts off the couch and start learning ourselves. 2, you meet so many cool people, and people who drink wine are cool. They're fun, you know, even Germans. I'm doing my level 4 in Germany, in Koblenz, and let me tell you, 99% of the students are Germans, and they are incredible fun, immense fun. I love them all. 3, you will never be scared of holding a wine list ever again. Because you know, whoever holds the wine list holds the power. So obviously I'm on level 4. I got my D1 results. D1 is an official of the 6 Ds that you need to complete in order to be a certified wine at WSET Diploma specialist. I actually still don't know what the D stands for, so probably like diploma. Yeah, probably diploma, right? Anyway, I passed. I basically just got an email with a screenshot of my name and pass next to it, and that was it. And I was running in joy. So now that I passed, I want to spread my knowledge and share with you how. D1 is an exam where you don't taste any wine. It is pure theory. What you get is a book. It is 234 pages, something like this. It is only in online format. If you want to have a physical book, you're going to have to print it yourself. They do not provide any physical books. We printed one copy. I say because I learned with my friend. So we printed just one for us. We never touched it. Honestly, it turned out to be such a small font size that it's just very uncomfortable to read. This is what it looks like. I don't know, it's gonna be like 20 euros probably to print the whole thing. The book is heavily focused on viticulture and vinification. Things like what is a vine, what it is made of, what it needs to survive, and how we make alcoholized juice from it. To me, it was surprisingly a lot of chemistry and a lot of biology too. I was very strong in humanitarian things at school, like languages, and learning formulas and remembering shit like polyvinylogalabluglagodoids. This was not the fun part for me, and it was incredibly difficult. It took me probably like hours to figure out how this photosynthesis works. Probably still would mess it up. So yeah, for me it was hard. There are some people who struggle with the humanitarian stuff, but writing I can do, but this... But, the fun thing is that you get to throw around, you get to learn and then throw around words like petiole, diurnal range, Eutypa dieback, anthocyanins, diatomaceous earth, centrifugation, PVPP, which is I still cannot pronounce, still haunts me in my sleep, polyvinyl polypyrrolidone. Now again, the exam is all open questions. There are no multiple choice questions, unlike in level 3. What they want you to do is to be able to analyze information, not just learn and reproduce it. They want you to make connections between things, and this recurring theme that they keep on asking in basically every, and I guarantee you will get this question. How does this and this impact wine's quality and wine style? For sure you're gonna have this question. They love this question. For example, like pruning decisions. If I prune late or if I prune early, how would this impact the wine's quality or the wine style? Clarification decisions, filtration decisions, vineyard treatments, all of this connected to wine style and wine quality. So already when you process every piece of information that you have in the book, try to kind of already think or always have in the back of your head this question: how would that impact wine quality and wine style? You're welcome. First thing you need to do to pass, obviously, is attend classes. I know this is obvious, but there's this one thing teachers keep on telling you from the very first moment they start their class, and this is the command verbs. And this sounds so ridiculous. I remember sitting there and our teacher would go on for at least like 2 hours about these command verbs, and I was looking at him and I was like, are you serious? Well, turns out I didn't know quite what those verbs mean. Or more specifically, I didn't really understand, or I didn't know what WCT means when they ask me to describe, explain, and define. This is very strongly connected to the volume of your answer somehow. Anyway, just listen to that and don't be all condescending or dismissive about these things, because they are important, no matter how boring they might seem to you. Just pay attention to that. Make your own notes. And when I mean notes, don't like rewrite the book. Instead, try to compact the information that you see to not bullet points, but trees and boxes, and connect them together. Take a piece of paper, you can squeeze all of that information into bullet points that you then arrange into boxes or trees with branches, whatever you prefer. And with that, you can, review it when needed. Here, this, it might seem like a hot mess to you, but this is basically sweet winemaking in a nutshell. And what you do is an hour before the exam, you take, 20, 30 of those, and you just go through them just to review. You see the whole piece of cake. A cake is not the best metaphor here. Jeez, I'm sorry. Next, Wine with Jimmy. This guy is so helpful, absolutely instrumental. It's not free, you have to pay for it, but it's worth it. Trust me. He is a beautiful storyteller. He has these presentations where he dives really deep and he gives you not only the explanations that you can see in the book, but he really kind of tells the story behind the stuff. And it's not like pure dry theory. It's actually some super interesting facts. And he visualizes everything. He has his podcast. He has flashcards. After every little video, you can go through flashcards and review the information. He also has mock questions, which brings me to the next point. Practice writing. You're gonna need to write a lot. I think I wrote about 10 pages. So you have your mock questions from Wine with Jimmy. You take them, you read the question, you write the answer, and then you take, because he has the answers as well, so you take his answer and then you compare it to yours, and then you learn from it. And remember, all the information that you have in the book, you need to understand it, not memorize it, not learn it per se, but really understand it. And then be able to reproduce it in a form of analysis. Like, again, this is an advanced shit. Level 4 is an advanced stuff. It is significantly more difficult than level 3. Next is Brainscape.
Research shows that we actually forget more.
Another digital tool, and digital flashcards to be exact. I went through these flashcards like in the train, tube, when I was sick, in bed, when I was traveling, on the beach. You get the point. It's also a tool that you have to pay. But if you follow any wine influencers, ask them. They might have like a special code for you, like a discount code that you can use to purchase it. And what I especially love about the Brainscape, that you can rate these flashcards so that the information that you actually know really, really well, you can rate it as know well, and it's not going to come back to you. So you can only learn stuff that you don't know yet, or that you're not confident about. Oh, and also it's super to memorize these useful phrases, because what Brainscape does, it's probably like an AI tool that kind of reads the whole book, analyzes it, and then creates flashcards. So the answers are going to be exact phrases taken from the book that circulate and that WCT examiners want you to reproduce in your exam answers. It's really, really useful to have those phrases in front of your eyes over and over again when you review these flashcards. Stuff like robust canopy, plow in the cover crops to impede airflow. This one thing I didn't do, and now I really regret it. Read examiner's notes. This is a detailed report by people who graded last year's papers. They basically sum up how the students from previous years, how they did, what were the most common mistakes, what they did really well. So basically you just learn from mistakes of others. They write stuff like the figures, D1 is Many candidates are unsure of terms such as enrichment or RCGM and mix up chemical names, for example, confusing SO2 or CO2. Something to pay attention to if you still are not certain about these what are they? Chemical formulas? Chemical formulas, yeah, right? Formulas. SO2 is the sulfur. SO2 is a chemical formula for sulfur. Anyway. Super helpful. Let me stress this one. This one is a separate point again, because you need to cover all of the book. I don't know about you, but this is how my brain works. I see like 2 last pages of the book and I'm like, come on, nobody's ever gonna design a question about quality assurance and control. But guess what? A friend of mine who wrote her D1 just a month after I did had a question about HACCP. If I saw this acronym on one of my questions during the exam, I would probably lose it. I would either start crying or just die then and there, because I was looking at it and I was like, application control. I can't even. What is this? HACCP. HACCP. Hazard analysis is critical control points. Yeah, like learn it. Don't underestimate their ability to put kind of irrelevant stuff into a question during your exam. Make sure you can say something about the making of a sweet wine, about the botrytis, and also HACCP, hazard analysis of critical control points. Oh, this one, which is really cool. One sheet, make sure that you have like one sheet for numbers only. For instance, what I want to mention also is that you don't need to know specific numbers. You don't need to memorize specific numbers in order to pass WSET, but they might be super helpful in getting extra points. So if you know the number, write it in. You have stuff like the typical range of pH in wine, which is between 3 and 4, different fermentation temperatures, growing cycle temperature, what temperature is needed for photosynthesis, for flowering, when does the vine goes into dormancy phase. You can pack it all in one sheet. Like, this is just one sheet. It's so messy, but for me, it's a masterpiece. Now, I'm going to finish with something very strange, very controversial, but I want to mention it. Before you trust me on this one, because I want to bring out like a bottom line of what's possible here, okay? It is possible to pass WSET without reading the whole book, just taking the Brainscape flashcards. If you know how to process big amounts of information quickly. If you know how to do it, I want you to know that it is possible. What my friend did is exactly that, a week of very intense learning. All of us, we have full-time jobs and it's sometimes really not easy to squeeze in the time. If you're like an average learner, like I am, it took me about 2 weeks of very intense learning. I can't say that I knew everything, but I could write something to everything. Some points I was stronger, some I was not. You can have a full-time job and you can pass all of the Ds. I have plenty of people who did that, and I just want to finish this with a little note of encouragement. It's been months since we hadn't had classes, and I'm excited to start learning for D3, which is the beast, very, very soon, in a couple of months. If you are a WSET any level student, I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about the program? What do you think about the studies? How you're doing? If you passed your exam, share the joy here. And I'm going to leave you as usual with an air kiss.